All right, so got a bit of a dilemma this morning. Not so much a dilemma, but anyway, an interesting issue. So we have a little Mercury 9.9 horsepower. I think you can see just behind me there that on our dinghy at the moment we've actually got a 15 Merc, slightly newer model. I've been asked if I want to do an exchange for our 9.9 for this 15, and to be honest, yes I do, but I've got to make sure the 15's running right first. And there's actually quite a lot of smoke, white smoke. I wasn't sure if it's blue or white. It's difficult to tell sometimes, especially out in the breeze. So I want to check this one out. If I can repair it so it's running nicely, then I want to do an exchange for our smaller one, which is a good deal for everybody. But I have had a play around. I've had a play around with the carburetor. Everything seems to be good. I had that part yesterday. I've also checked and changed out all the fuels to make sure that there wasn't too much oil in the mixture, which can make a smoke. The other one is normally moisture getting into the head, and that is then causing the smoke issue. So I'm going to run it just to show it to you first, and then I think what I'm going to do, because I've eliminated pretty much everything else I can think of, i.e. carburetor and the reeds as well. I've had the reeds out. I think what I'm going to do is now start filming stuff. We'll do a test so you can see what it looks like when it's running, and then I think the next step is going to be to remove the head and find out where that water is getting into the cylinder. Alright, looks like that works as an improvised workbench come outboard stand. Just tied it on, plank of wood to clip over there, tied it onto the helm seat, nice and secure. So that ain't going anywhere. I've got somewhere to work on it now. Fantastic. Alright, let's get this baby open. Okay, so first things first, when trying to get to this area, what I've decided to do is I'm going to remove everything that's in my way. So spark plugs are coming out, the ignition coils are coming off. This is where the water comes up. So this is, it's not the pump because you have an impeller which is at the base here on top of the gearbox shaft, but this is where the water comes into the engine. And also this electrical box here, the electrical connections, the brain of the motor. There are two areas that I want to get to. If it is the head gasket itself, that is under here. Okay, and then the second gasket that I'm thinking it could be is on the exhaust side, which is this one in here. As I say, everything's in each other's way at the moment. Let me just show you some drawings. So if we go, lost my page, there it is. So if we go here, this is the parts that we're looking at. Now this is the head gasket, and these are the exhaust gaskets. Now I'm thinking it's one of these that has failed, probably the head gasket. If not, on the exhaust side there is two of them. Now I don't have replacement gaskets, so I'm going to open them up, have a look. If they're completely gone, and what I will do is order new ones and just simply put new ones in. If not, if they're just a little bit of damage, or maybe I can just see what's wrong, maybe I can fix it temporarily with some gasket make or even some gasket paper. Let me see what type of gaskets are in there. So maybe we can use it temporarily while we wait for parts. Being here in the Dominican, everything takes about 3 weeks to get here basically. So anyway, let's crack on. I've got a box here ready for all the little small bits and pieces so nothing gets lost, and let's strip it back and see what we find. Alright, so I've basically stripped everything off so I can get the complete head off. I'm going to show you why in a moment, but first I want to lift the power head actually off of the gear casing so that we can get to it better and get to all the components. I have found a major problem. Can you guess what it is yet? Alright, so I have struggled for the last couple of days to get a puller to remove the flywheel. I've now borrowed one from my buddy and I've got the flywheel off. So flywheels are off, plus all the electrical components on here which produce the power for the spark plugs. So what we're going to do is pull this apart and see if we can get to that piston. That is looking a bit shot. A little bit shot, it's completely shot. Make a bit of space.
Oh, something's dangling.
Something's dangling? We don't want to dangle it.
That doesn't look good.
No, that's the... Yeah, and it's scored on the inside as well.
Is it?
So we got scoring on the inside of the piston here.
You can feel it with your finger.
Yeah, well that's actually the cylinder head. And I can feel it with my finger, and that's in exactly the same spot as this here. So, that is the problem.
They look a bit burnt.
They do look a little, but I'm not sure what the hot spot means. That means probably the wrong fuel mixture. Which again could bring us back to the carburetor issues.
See? Have you played with ours yet?
I haven't played with our carburetor this morning, so I'm going to get back to our carburetor. This engine we know is in a pretty bad state, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do with this one. Need to speak to the owner. But anyway, ours isn't running, so I'm going to fix ours.
So we haven't filmed too much of the last couple of days because there's been a lot of swear words used. So Davy's been trying to fix our engine as well, and needless to say, it hasn't gone super well just yet, so we haven't pulled out the camera too much. Davy's in a more positive mood today, so hopefully, what do you reckon?
Yes, I'm in a much more positive mood. It's been a bad few days. You know, sometimes you touch stuff and just doesn't want to work. But look at this, positivity. We finally got this open. Okay, so putting this block back on, there is a gasket for the exhaust, and taking it off, you can see they're in pretty bad condition. I don't have a gasket kit, so what I do have is I found some gasket paper. I have traced around, I had to piece it together a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, and drawn it on the paper, and then I'm cutting out all the holes for it. So I've got lots of different bits off of 2 different blocks, and I've managed to make the gasket here, which is fantastic. So I'm also, with this is very slightly thinner than the original gasket, so I'm going to put a little bit of instant gasket on either side when I remount it. So fingers crossed, this should work.
So guys, Davy doesn't like being on camera with his glasses on, but I think he looks cute. What do you think?
So hey presto guys, one gasket just like it came out of the store. That should do absolutely fantastically. So if this rain ever stops, I'll go and reinstall the block.
So babe, how expensive was the gasket paper?
Really expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was 50 pesos.
For that whole sheet?
For the whole sheet. In fact, it was actually on a big roll in there. But the gasket set for this engine, which to be honest I would buy if I was somewhere that I could buy it, is about $100. And to be honest, it's all made from exactly this paper. It didn't take long. So I think this is the way to do it. That's all it is, it's just it's not pre-done in a factory. So as long as you've got the sizes right, paper's the way to go.
So we have been doing lots of work on the Dinghy engine itself, as you've seen. We now have an up and running Dinghy engine. It's a mix of some of the parts between the two, so we've got one good working engine. One of the other things that's kind of happened this week, there was a couple guys who sailed in here and they just bought themselves a new dinghy, so they were looking at getting rid of their old one. So it was a Zodiac 10 foot, just over 10 foot long dinghy, and they were only asking $500 US for it. So we got really lucky. We managed to sell our old Littlefoot, our tiny little 7.5, 8 foot dinghy. We sold it for $500 and we managed to buy the new one.
And so, it comes with chaps as well, but I've got to, I was going to put it on just to show you the dinghy, but I've got to re-glue on the Velcro for the chaps, so we're not going to do that.
But we've gone from a sports car to an SUV.
I do have to fix it up a little bit. There's a few handles coming off, that sort of stuff. Yesterday I actually did a nice repair on the bow, if you will, because if you took some water on the bow, so you had heavy people in it, then it would let water in. But that repair has been done, so she holds air and she doesn't leak any water. I just need to make her a bit prettier, guys. But anyway, welcome to the new
SUV Littlefoot. Dun, 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 dun.
And don't worry about all that black stuff. That is where. So I spent some time scrubbing it up and got it come up nice and clean on this side. These are some of the bits I need to glue back down. We've got the glue ready to go, but it keeps raining. All this black stuff here is where the chaps actually Velcro on. So I took the time to take it off, and then the guys that we got it from told us they had chaps, so we went and picked those up as well. So I didn't need to, we just need to glue the Velcro back on. Anyway, now we can move stuff around on our own instead of that tiny little dinghy. Yeah, with dive tanks and all that sort of stuff. And we've also, guys, just managed to get 2 more dive tanks, so now we're up to 4. So we're going to be doing a lot more diving in the episode. But anyway, we have better transport.
Woo! So, hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We are super happy with our new car. It's so much more practical, and with the provisioning and stuff that we have been doing and will be doing, it's so much easier. We don't have to borrow a dinghy, and we don't have to do a million trips back and forth, so it saves on fuel as well. Just want to do a massive thank you to all of our patrons, everyone who has jumped on board and become a patron, and all of our existing patrons. Thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you. So it looks like our weather window is coming. So it's still a little bit of a ways out, so you can never be too certain, but it looks like it's coming. So we are so excited. This is like the end of a chapter. We've been in Loop Run nearly 2 years. We're looking forward to a change in scenery and being back in the Bahamas. So we're really looking forward to it. So stick with us, guys. Next week we leave Loop Run. So wait, glasses or no glasses? Put them on. Put them on.
No.
Glasses.
Or.
Oh, this is when he looks.
I don't mind the tinted ones.
This is when he looks like Stevie Wonder. Isn't that it?
Who said that?
Hey babe, can you do me a favor?
What?
Can you ask Siri a question?
No.
Please?
She doesn't listen to me.
You're not friends with Siri anymore?
No.
Just go on.
Let's try it. Siri, 10-minute timer.
10 minutes. Counting down.
Of course it works on camera.
Of course. It didn't work this morning.
Cancel the 10-minute timer.
It's cancelled.
So what, we just have to put a camera on her and then she works?
Yeah, and then she works.
And they're selling...
It's not going to work, it's too windy.
Okay. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this week's episode. This week.